Oh, okay. Check, check, check. Oh, you know what? This darn computer. Okay, I think everyone now on the stream can hear me.
Yep, we're good. Sometimes when I plug it back in, like this crummy adapter manages to screw things up. And
Oh, no, I think I thought I had my mic on, and apparently I didn't. I don't know what I hit, or if this is weird, so... But anyways...
You've been muted the whole time again?
No. I'm like 99% sure that I like unmuted my mic, and I don't know if I bumped some button on the keyboard that caused it to... Like, you know how when you're like on something sometimes and you hit a key, it will undo it? Or like it'll select it? Like the spacebar, for instance, on YouTube. What
you're telling me is you've been muted the whole time.
No. I remember turning on my mic at the beginning of the show. So somewhere in between the start of the show and somewhere in between the beginning of the show and switching over to the double box, people couldn't hear me. Anyways, okay, so let's back up a little bit. We're talking about YouTube. They went down. There was a massive outage in 2018, October of 2018. And anyway, YouTube went down the other day, partially for about an hour and a half or so. This was on the 8th, so on Tuesday. And, of course, prevented creators from watching and uploading videos to the platform. Now, Zach was saying, and you probably heard him, he's like, well, what the heck is going on? Like, and as I said, for once, it wasn't actually your ISP. It wasn't a problem on your end. It was a problem on YouTube's end. So, anyway. So what happened at about 3:10 p.m. Eastern Time, and then was fixed about 4:40 p.m. Eastern Time, and... YouTube, Google, you know, big online presence, things like that, in sync with social media. So they alerted all of their users and stuff like that on Twitter about 3:30 p.m. If YouTube isn't loading for you, or you're seeing error messages on the site, we're on it. The company support account tweeted Tuesday afternoon. More updates to follow is what they said. So... Anyway, people were affected by the outage. Or people who were affected by the outage were greeted by blank screens, lines of code, and empty video boxes when they tried to access YouTube. So that's the thing that happened.
Fantastic.
I've seen that before though, where like you go to like watch a video, like the rest of the website loads, but the video box portion of it doesn't. Where it's just like,
oh, and of course the ad loads if you're some kind of crazy madman who doesn't use ad block.
Guilty. Yeah, I'm guilty about that one. So, anyways, yeah. So that's the thing that happened.
To be guilty of, it's your loss.
That is true. That is true. Although there's something interesting that we can talk about later, in regards to, what is it? Ad block and Chrome and things like that. Anyways, so yeah. But the difference between this outage that happened on Tuesday and the outage that happened in October, it was only partially. So like, it was a partial outage. So some people were still able to actually like do everything that they wanted to do on the platform, while other people were completely like, I can't do anything at all. So, anyways, I don't know if like. I bet you YouTube has, like, load servers all over the place and things like that. And so, that way... Because you gotta think, how many people are hitting YouTube at a single time? You know what I mean? So, I'm guessing, like, maybe a node or something like that went down somewhere, or... who knows what happened.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
But, anyway. Yeah, that must have been what happened. So, okay. Moving on. Ring. If you don't know what Ring is, I don't know if you heard me at the beginning of the show or not. I don't know how long my mic was muted. And this is the part where I actually make sure, yep, I see bars for myself, and I know that your mic's unmuted. So, anyways.
Mine is working correctly.
Anyway, so... Ring is a company that is doing, like, AI stuff, and their big thing is the Ring video doorbell. You've probably seen ads for it all over the place. So, anyway, maybe a little hot water here, but Ring allowed employees to, get this, Zach, share unencrypted customer video with each other.
Ooh, my goodness, that's a
okay.
big red flag.
Now, out of those two words there, which one is worse, unencrypted or customer?
Honestly, probably customer.
I'm gonna go with that too.
They should not be doing such a thing.
Okay, so there's a theory behind it.
If it's encrypted with the strongest encryption man can design.
There's a theory behind it, and we'll talk about that in just a minute here. But this is according to reports by both the Intercept and the Information. So the reports say that Ring gave various teams access to unencrypted customer video files on company servers and live feeds from some customers' cameras. Live feeds!
Like, that's not good. That's just not good at all.
Yeah, and that was, and it gets even worse. It was regardless of whether that access was necessary or not.
Why would they need that access for anything? What?
Well, we'll talk about it. Brainstorm ideas, and once I say it, you're going to be like, okay, that kind of actually sort of makes sense. But anyway, so the behavior began back in 2016 when Ring founder Jamie Siminoff moved the company's efforts from San Francisco to the Ukraine so he could save money. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, for months after the Ukraine office was open, videos were frequently transmitted without encryption, and the company provided its R&D team, whatever the heck that is, in the Ukraine with virtually unrestricted access to a folder on the company's Amazon S3 cloud storage instance containing, get this, every Ring customer's video. Every customer.
That's so dumb. What? Why? Just, what?
So
you don't even have to know any kind of policy or anything to just know that is stupid. It doesn't matter whether or not that's illegal. That's a horrendously bad image.
Okay, so that's an interesting point that you just brought up there, and I was kind of thinking about it. Okay, so he moved part of the company to the Ukraine for saving money, but does this also open up some of the loopholes for them to be able to, I don't know, actually like look at the customer data and things like that? And I'm sure yada yada yada, terms of service, blah blah blah.
I'm sure it's legal because I'm sure it's in the terms of service that they can do whatever they want with your data. But is it a good image? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Exactly. So as soon as I saw this story, my first reaction was, well, I'm never buying a Ring doorbell.
Yeah, and I'm sure you are not alone in that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm not buying a Ring doorbell. So
this is going to, it's just going to hurt the public perception of their product.
You know what? Okay, so this is like one of those, and I really should do a video about this, but do you remember a while back? Let's just start off by saying that Apple is a sneaky company. Is that fair?
By saying what exactly?
Well, okay. You know what? Okay, another thought real quick here, but I'm a tad bit curious to know how Apple has built a perception where people know what they do is wrong and twisted and not right, so wrong, and yet people still keep buying their products. Like, Apple is the company that can do no wrong. I don't understand how that works. But what I was going to say was that, like, in terms of, like, hurting image and things like that, it goes back to that whole, we're going to throttle older phones so that you get, better, quote-unquote, performance, whether that's actually true or not. And, your phone's not going to shut down on you and things like that. But
regarding that one, I think it's something that's, like, it makes sense, but the way they did it.
They didn't tell anybody.
And they made it look like it was a handed attempt to get people to upgrade their phones rather than a legitimate measure to just improve the usability of the devices.
Right. Okay.
So now, as a result of that, regardless of what the intent was, it looks bad.
Exactly. And the best part is it kind of blew up in their face. But okay, like, here's the thing, okay? People are smart. They're way smarter than me and you, and eventually somebody's gonna figure out what happened, which is exactly what happened, and they weren't too happy about it, and they told other people who weren't too happy about it, and then, of course, Apple had a giant PR nightmare that they had to take care of, and so, yeah.
Fact is, a lot of people aren't smart, but they don't even have to be.
Yeah, exactly.
People will tell them.
Exactly. And it doesn't take that much knowledge to know that, oh, Apple is slowing my phone down and they did something behind our backs without telling us that they were doing it, because who knows what the reasoning behind it was, but, it was very, in my opinion, very sneaky. Extremely sneaky and deceitful? Is that the right word?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about that. It's like, I'm not sure if they ever outright lied about it, but they didn't tell anyone.
Exactly.
And they didn't tell anybody a piece of information that they deserved to know.
I think, okay, so let me ask you real quick, and I'll give my opinion in just a second, and then we'll get back to this. But in terms of that whole, let's throttle your older device with a degrading battery so that it doesn't just randomly shut down on you. Like, first off, let me ask you, do you think it was, and we're not talking the disclosure part of it, we're just talking that in theory, right? Okay? That whole process there, do you think that was a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm not fully aware of the reasons that they did it and
okay, so basically
that it had, so I don't know. I mean, what were the negative effects of allowing the continued normal device operation and not problem?
Yeah, so as far as I know, and I haven't done a super amount of research into it, but as far as I know, the theory was that the degrading battery and the amount of processing power and things like that were going to be needed to run your phone, they were throttling that back or drawing it back so that your phone wouldn't just unexpectedly, this is where I kind of call BS, but unexpectedly shut down on you.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if this is a demonstrable effect of leaving it to run unhindered, sure, it's reasonable. But
see, that's
not needs to tell you that it's going to do that. First of all,
right, yeah. I like, and I'm not just like, the whole way that was handled was not handled correctly. They should have been open about it. I think way more people would have been, oh, hey, you guys are slowing my phone down to give me better performance out of the phone, and so it doesn't just randomly, again, shut down. I don't buy that, by the way. I don't buy, oh, your phone's just gonna randomly just go poof on you and shut down. Although I have seen it happen from time to time, but I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, you're right. Okay, the image, your public image that you perceive, right? A Ring, not a great image right now. And so, now I haven't done a super amount of research on this because Ring actually got bought out by Amazon. But anyways, back to this. So the company provided its R&D team in the Ukraine with virtually unrestricted access to that folder that had all the customers' video and stuff on it, right? That's alarming to me. I don't know about you, Zach, but
that does not seem like a good thing to do.
Yeah, that's alarming to me. Okay? So videos were unencrypted and could be, this is the other thing, could be easily downloaded and shared. easily downloaded and shared. That's like there are
I
red.
just don't see the point. Why? What was gained from doing that?
Right. Okay, so we're getting there. We are getting there. Okay. Now, at the same time, the U.S.-based Ring executives and engineers were granted overreaching access to unfiltered, round-the-clock live feeds from some customers' cameras. There was no documented instances of this access being abused. So, okay, fine. And the Ukraine team was granted access to customer video as a, here we go, manual prop-up for underperforming AI. So data operators manually tagged and labeled objects and videos like vehicles and people, and it was in an effort to train the software's object recognition. So that was the theory for having access to videos from customers.
So, question, like, was it a commonly known thing?
I don't know.
They do this? Like, maybe they could incorporate it into the marketing or something. Be like, this thing, this product can do this, and this, and it's, hooked up to this neural network that, and you're contributing to it, and all that.
Right. Well, that's what Tesla did. That's what Tesla did when they unveiled the autonomous function of the car. As you were driving it around, it was collecting data and things like that. And things do that all the time. Things ask you, are you willing to opt in?
Like, I don't know, what am I looking for here? The fact that they don't say anything about that and they try to keep it on the down low.
Again, deceitful.
People off about it.
Exactly. And people find out that this happens or it gets leaked somehow, and then, you have a giant PR nightmare on your hands. So, now, since the Amazon acquisition, some security measures have been put in place to prevent access to sensitive customer information. And reports say staffers have ways around them, however, though. So, still not great.
What was the point then?
We tried to put some measures in place to prevent it from happening. A Ring representative told the Interceptor that that the only videos employees view and annotate are those that are made public through Ring's Community Watch app. And, okay, here's the thing. If that's actually true, and, see, I think that's okay. If you are knowingly putting your video out there on a public community watch app, then I think, yeah, okay. If the company wants to use that video to help the system become smarter and things like that, I think that's okay. Because in a sense, you're already consenting to, that video being public out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think just, it's a huge security risk, and personally, I would think a giant liability risk as well for... Let's not look at the encryption part of it. Yes, the video should be encrypted. But I think just from the standpoint of staff being able to have access to all the customers' data and things like that, like, think about that. Somebody malicious could get into that, study, figure out probably where a particular video feed is coming from, possibly in a close proximity to where they are. And if they have evil intents, learn the patterns and stuff like that, or even access that information to, carry out a home invasion or something like that. Or, other stuff. I don't know if it would actually go that crazy, but it would be a possibility. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, say you wanted to break into somebody's house and then you have access to this camera thing.
Exactly.
You can just use that to see, the person comes home at this time every day.
Exactly.
But between this time and that time, there's nobody here. Perfect time to break in.
Exactly. So, kind of a scary thing.
I don't really think that has much to do with the sharing of information in this story, but sure.
Okay. Let's see here. We had another person watching here. I don't know if they're still watching. A Timmy 900 says hi. Hi, if you're still there. What processor is at the tail? Intel. I don't know if he's talking about my system. If that's what you're asking, if you're asking what processor I'm using, an AMD Ryzen 2700X, which is a beast of a system. Beats the crap out of your 4790K over there, doesn't it, Zach?
Blah blah blah. I don't like
let's take a minute here. How's the upgrade process coming?
Well, I'm very disappointed because the Ryzen 3000 series was heavily speculated to be announced at CES, and there's not really anything about it other than some dumb laptop CPUs.
Okay. Interesting.
So, I don't know. I guess we'll think about what's the best course of action then. I believe it was said that they will be coming out in midsummer. So, perhaps what will happen is, come midsummer, I will look at what they release, and then if I don't like it, I'll just buy the best CPU I can afford, regardless of who's the manufacturer of it.
Okay, so you might be sticking with Intel, or I'm guessing you're probably going.
I'll buy the best CPU I can afford, regardless of who makes it. So. The best CPU for my use case.
I was going to say throw a Xeon in there, but Xeons aren't great for gaming, I don't think, are they?
Well, that's why I said the best one I can get.
Right. So, based off of what you're...
I know what I'm doing.
Based off of what you're looking for and what you need. So, anyways, let's take a quick intermission, like a 1 minute intermission real quick here. And we will continue in just a moment. Hold on. Okay, so moving on now. Zach, can you still hear me right? You're good? Okay, perfect. Yeah, moving on to our favorite part of the show. Time for the Microsoft news this week. So, did you get a chance to scroll down and look at any of this, Zach, or not?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'll be following along, don't worry.
So, anyway, Microsoft is helping America's largest grocery chain fight off Amazon. Now, I don't know. I hope.
Well, it's probably because, they probably aren't too fond of Amazon. Amazon's a big competitor of theirs, of course.
Right.
So, anything they can do to
help
compete.
Yeah, fight the power.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
So, anyway, Kroger, which is America's largest grocery store chain, has partnered with Microsoft to create a pair of high-tech grocery stores. Whatever the heck that means. No, I'm going to tell you. So, anyway, Zach, what is a high-tech grocery store?
I have no clue.
So the stores, which are located in Washington and Ohio, are filled with digital shelf labels and image recognition cameras. Okay. You can maybe see where this is starting to go, can't you?
Yep.
I think there's a room for a lot of discussion in here. Anyways, so the aim is to create a retail environment that's easier for both customers and retail employees to navigate. Okay, I like some of this stuff, but I think it opens up a lot of controversy as well, which you probably already kind of know where I'm going with on that. We'll talk about it in a minute here. So, but the two companies also hope to use the digital signage to sell targeted ads based on customers' demographics. Here's where we start getting into the controversy. As soon as you start using all this electronic cameras and apps and things like that, what does that automatically do, Zach?
Data collection.
Exactly. Which, okay. And maybe I don't know. Maybe my viewpoints are different. I think me and your viewpoints are probably somewhat different based off of the generation that we grew up in. We grew up around technology with computers and things like that. And my thing is that I know that there's data collection and things like that. There's ways to get around it and stuff, but it's just kind of an inevitable thing that's going to happen anyways, for the most part. And I'm kind of sort of okay with it in some aspects. I don't know how you feel.
Well, wouldn't say I'm fond of it per se, but it exists and it's not going to go anywhere, so I better get used to it.
Okay, and I think that's the exact same perception that I have versus somebody who's in a much older generation, say our parents, right, where they didn't really grow up with that, so they're probably somewhat either A, more opposed to it, or B, just don't know enough about it. And
either that or they're completely unaware that it's even happening.
Or that too. Or that too.
Very often the case.
Or that too. So, I don't know. Although, I had somebody, I didn't personally, but somebody came into our retail environment that I work in. And, yeah, big surprise if you didn't know, I don't work in TV anymore. I work in retail. Anyway, so, and I don't know, maybe you've ran into this issue too, but we had one of our other associates up front, and he was speaking with this particular individual, and the individual that was there did not want their information put into our computer system for a warranty that was on a product that we were selling this particular individual.
Okay, well, in that case, they probably don't get a warranty then, correct?
Yeah, because it makes it, I mean, they could theoretically hang on to the receipt, but, you know, the theory behind it is that we take the individual's information, put it into our system, that gets linked to your sales history, and then that way, if you know, a few years down the line, some of our products, I believe the particular product in question had a 5-year warranty on it, if it was the product that I'm thinking of. And so, you know, 5 years is a long time to keep a receipt around. But the theory is that, you know, you don't have to worry about what happens to that receipt or something like that. You know, let's say you have a problem 4 years down the line, you stop back in, you give us your information, typically a phone number, and that links you then to, you know, who you are in our system, and then we can go back and look and see, oh, okay, this is what you bought, this is when you bought them, yep, I see that. Because we do that all the time in terms of my particular establishment does device repair. So with the device repair that we do, we have warranties and stuff like that, and from time to time, things come back. Whether it's a defective product or just something didn't get put back in correctly, you know, through just normal, the process of taking things apart and stuff. And so, you know, we go in, put a phone number in. Oh, hey, this is that particular individual. Everything comes back. So, anyways, but I don't know. Have you ever? Because I'm sure you in your establishment as well, Zach. I'm sure you do something similar, don't you?
Sure. Yeah.
So now, have you ran into that situation yet, where people are sometimes hesitant? I know the big one is like. I know the big one is like email addresses. Sometimes people are very hesitant on giving out email addresses, but anyways, so yeah, so that's a particular thing that happened. Anyways, yes, we do know what we're doing when we do device repair. Through the normal course of things, sometimes things don't quite go how they're expecting. Fun quick tidbit story. We were working on a device a few weeks ago, and I don't remember what we did. I think we did like a battery swap or something. No, we didn't do a battery swap. We did a screen replacement, and through the process, there were some components that shifted around. I think it was like an antenna or something like that had come undone. It got hooked to a plate or something like that, and we didn't realize it immediately when we were putting it back together, and it was causing the device to short out. So the individual came back and they're like, why does my phone keep restarting? So we're kind of looking at it, trying to figure out. We thought it was a battery issue at first, and then finally realized that that's actually what happened. Whoops. Simple fix, put the component back to where it needed to be, and we were good to go. But anyways, back to this. So, Kroger is the second major retailer to have partnered with Microsoft because Walmart has announced a partnership of its own. They did that last year, which I didn't hear anything about. I don't think you did either, did you?
No, I'm not sure.
So
familiar, but I don't specifically remember, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, the hope is that the Microsoft Azure, I still don't know how to pronounce that, cloud infrastructure and AI will help them better compete with Amazon's data-driven approach. Kroger's prototype stores are not nearly as advanced as the cashless Amazon Go experience. There's a lot more high-tech that the company's other... Oh, but they're a lot more high-tech than the company's other 2,800 retail stores have in them. That's a lot of stores. But for customers, the biggest benefit of the 2 pilot stores is the guided shopping experience. Which, okay, here's the thing, okay? Some of the data collection stuff is actually kind of cool. Or like the benefits to all the new electronic stuff and things. So, again, so using either an app or one of Kroger's existing Scan Bag Go terminals, customers are directed around a store to find the items in their shopping list. Okay? Now this gets kind of cool.
That's fairly neat.
Oh yeah, okay, and it gets cooler, okay? So, when they reach the correct aisle, right, digital shelf signs show a personalized symbol to show them the item they need. That's kind of cool. So,
suppose.
So you're like, oh, this is... think about it, okay? How many times do you... Well, probably not yourself, but... you go into a store, you're looking for a particular item, right? Oh, where the heck is this item? Well,
right.
This is going to guide you right to it, and then you're in that aisle, right? And then you just look at the tag, and it's like, oh, hey, here it is right here. So, kind of a cool thing. Not necessarily the whole data collection portion of it, but, yeah. Anyways. So, when they reach the correct aisle, the digital signage show that personalized symbol, blah, 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 blah. The app or terminal can then be used to scan the item before directing them to the next entry on their list. So, now I could see this definitely being useful for like the on-the-go mom or even the on-the-go dad, who has a lot of things to do and doesn't have a lot of time, rather than spending, half an hour in the store, they might only spend 15 because they're not taking as much time trying to locate what it is that they need. So, anyways, so when they're not directing customers, these digital signs can also show pricing and product information and can also serve targeted ads to customers based on their demographics. Here's where we start getting...
That is where it goes into the dumpster.
That is where it starts to go downhill. The Kroger app can also recommend items based on the customer's shopping habits. This is like impulse buys 2.0 right here. Let me ask you a question real quick here, okay? You walk into the store, Zach. Where's the milk? Where do they put it?
Probably in the refrigerated section.
Right, but where is that section usually located in the store?
Zach.
Exactly. Why is that?
And I'm sure it's because you told me this, but it's because they want you to walk past all the other stuff and see it.
Exactly. So think about it. Bread, milk, necessities. They will put in the back of the store because they know people need those things. And the theory is that as you're walking by other stuff, you're going to see it and you're going to say, maybe I should pick that up. So this is like that theory, like 2.0 right here. So now now we get back into some cool stuff right here. Retail employees also have benefits from the new system. The signage will flash to show them which items need to be collected for Kroger's curbside deliveries. Okay, cool. And image recognition cameras implanted in the ceilings of the store basically going to help monitor what stock is running low. So that's kind of cool. I think those things right there. I guess my retail establishment that I work in is a fairly small. We have a small showroom, so I know where like 90% of our products are. So when inventory comes in for the week, I don't have much of a problem finding it. Now, the establishment that you work in, though, is a much larger retail space. And I don't know. Would that be helpful? Something that took you exactly to where you needed to go to find something?
I mean, I guess. Sure. I don't know.
Well, okay. I guess, how much on the sales floor stuff do you do? In terms of
Next to nothing.
Okay, I was going to say, like, how much do you actually sell products? Next to nothing? Okay.
Computer. That's all I do, really.
Oh, okay. So you don't really do any of the sales side of stuff with, like, the merchandise?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, in that situation right there, especially...
It's pretty irrelevant to me.
Right. I was going to say, in that situation, though, if somebody's asking for something that's in a completely different... I don't know if I would call it department, but, shall we say section, than the section that you're primarily used to, it might be helpful. So, anyways... sensors in the store's refrigerated cases can also give employees a heads up if the temperature is rising too much to prevent their content from spoiling. Also great. So there are some benefits to the system. There are some drawbacks to the data collection thing. What I would really like to see companies do, and some are actually decent about it, if they're being truthful and honest about it, I would really like to see more companies offer an option. Do you want to opt in or opt out of data collection? And then
unlike Microsoft, let's actually opt these people out if they choose to.
Right, exactly. Let's actually honor what they want and let's be truthful about it. Because you're going to have some people who are not going to care. And you're going to have other people who really, really care. So, now, separately, Microsoft has also been rumored to be working on a cashier-free store system, which works using cameras mounted in each shopping cart to track items. That sounds fairly familiar to something that already exists. What? Help me out with that, Zach. What do they call that? Zamazon? Amazon. Amazon Go stores. But hey, you know what? If somebody comes up with a great idea, it makes sense that other people are going to want to copy that. So, anyways.
I mean, it's not like Amazon can just say, this is ours and no one else can do it.
No, but they can definitely put some patents on things. I mean, that hasn't stopped Apple from...
they're using.
That hasn't stopped Apple yet from trying to sue the crap out of people. You know what I mean? Like... Apple tries to sue the crap out of anybody they possibly can. Oh, it looks really, 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 really close to what we did. We're going to try to sue you. So, anyways. Shall we talk about telecommunication companies and how scummy they are, Zach?
I mean, we kind of do that, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Sure, we can do it some more.
Okay, we're talking about AT&T here, which, by the way, in my area is horrible. But that's besides the point. That would be why I'm on Verizon, because I actually get service and things like that. So,
well, they're horrible too, but
well, yeah, they're horrible too, but at least you get service in this area. So, anyway, AT&T misleads customers by updating phones with fake 5G icon.
come on. I'm sure they've spun it as, oh, but it's fine.
Oh, no. It gets
they know
good.
exactly what they're doing.
They know exactly what they're doing.
They know exactly what they're doing, and they did it for a reason.
It gets good. So, yeah. Hold on. Timmy900, if you're still watching, which I don't think you are. Sorry, I'm not used to looking over at the comment section, so yeah. Anyways, AT&T has updated 3 smartphones from Samsung and LG to make them show 5G logos. Hey, Zach, let me ask you a question.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, does 5G exist yet? No, it doesn't. It doesn't exist yet.
Not, and by that I mean the official standard for what can be classed as a 5G connection has not been deployed.
Right. Oh, you want to know
any company.
You want to know the best part? This gets even better, right? So they've updated the phones to show a 5G logo, right? Even though none of them are actually capable.
Using 5G.
No. They're not capable of being on a 5G network.
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd need a brand new radio.
So, yeah. That would be like, let's go way back here. Like slapping a ready for Windows XP sticker on like a Windows 95 machine.
I mean, basically, yeah, except this is like almost worse because, maybe you could say, oh, well, it could run it, sure, but here's the thing. Now, these phones, no matter how you spin it, they are never going to be on a 5G network.
No.
Why? Because they don't have the correct wireless hardware to do it.
It's like trying to use a GSM phone on a what are the two? There's GSM and what the devil are they? GSM and CDMA.
And say that again?
CDMA and GSM. Those are the two networks used by telecommunication companies like Verizon, AT&T,
yes,
US Cellular, Verizon, right?
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
Right. So
that
it's like trying to use a CDMA phone, on a GSM network. It just doesn't work, and it will never work because it can't use those signals. Or here's another great one, right? It's like trying to use a laptop on a 5G wireless network when all it does is it can't even see the 5G network. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some great examples. It's not supported. It's not supported. So anyway, now, when the Samsung Galaxy S8 active LG V30 or LG V40 are connected to portions of AT&T's LTE network that have received some speed boosting updates, they'll show an icon that says 5GE instead of LTE. Okay? Here's the great part. The E in the 5G logo is supposed to tip you off that it isn't real 5G. Okay?
Okay. But
hold on.
I'm sure that's what they say, but they know that people are going to think, oh, it's 5G.
No. Okay, hold on, okay? Right? Because this is where the marketing BS comes out, right? It's just some marketing nonsense. There's no way of knowing that just from looking at the logo. Oh, and the E is smaller than the rest of the icon.
Probably a lot of people can't even read it.
That very well may be true. You know what? Let's see if we. Yeah. There's a picture of this. Okay, go open up the article and go take a look at this real quick, Zach.
It is quite small.
Oh, can you see it? You know, I think if it hadn't been pointed out to me, if it hadn't been pointed out to me, if it hadn't been pointed out to you, would you have noticed the E there?
Maybe, I don't know.
I probably would have noticed it after a while, but I probably wouldn't have noticed it right away. So anyways, yeah, so here you go. Right here. 5GE. I hope people can make that out on the stream. But anyways, but it is significantly smaller than the rest of it there, and very, very subtle. What do they call that? Subscripted, I think. It's like subscript anyway, so yeah. But it's 5G.
Oh, but it's not 5G. We never pretended it was. It's 5G.
Oh,
Come on, you're supposed to know that.
Dude,
that's my impression of an AT&T executive. If you cannot tell.
I thought that was your impression of a like 80-year-old grandma. No offense, but I need to isolate that clip and see that. Zach's just like, what have I done? Okay, so even if you do learn that the 5GE stands for 5G evolution, Zach, there you go. It isn't immediately clear what that means. Okay? 5GE evolution.
What is 5G evolved? Like, what is different? What's different about it? I want to know.
Well, okay, so see, here's the thing. To win the 5G marketing wars, AT&T has decided to brand portions of its LTE network as 5G evolution. These portions of AT&T's network have received speed-boosting upgrades and should be faster than typical LTE. Okay.
Okay, but they're still probably nowhere near proper 5G.
No, I don't think so. AT&T isn't doing anything that other carriers haven't already implemented. These are still, by definition, LTE technologies, not 5G ones. And so this is exactly about marketing, not about improving your phone.
Well, wow, that sure is a shocker.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. AT&T says 5GE connectivity will reach average real-world speeds of around 40 megabits per second. 40 megabits per second. You know what? You know what's...
I seem to recall that 5G, according to the standard, is supposed to be a gigabit. So they've got a bit of a ways to go, I would say.
I'm sorry.
What about you? What do you think?
I'm sorry. I was responding to a text. What is the speed supposed to be for 5G?
I do believe it's supposed to be gigabit.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. 40 megabit and a gigabit.
Yeah.
We're not even at half there. A bit of a difference, Zach?
Yeah, just a bit.
It's
pretty much the same thing, though. That's what I heard from my friendly AT&T executive.
You have an AT&T executive? Oh. You're, wait. Are you...
Yes, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
I'm making fun of them.
I was curious, though, because technically in your establishment, you do have a mobile section.
So?
Huh?
So?
So I wasn't sure if you actually had somebody there who knew some stuff about, things that were happening. What am I looking for?
They don't care about any marketing junk. That's all this is. It's marketing junk.
Oh, here we go. Okay. So I'm curious. I have a Galaxy S9, which is a relatively new flagship phone, right? Okay. Does not support 5G. Okay. I'm not on AT&T. I am on Verizon, but let's just do a quick speed test here and see what it is that I actually get. Okay? Any guesses right now, Zach, as to what my download speeds are?
I mean, I used to have like 70, I think last time I speed checked on LTE.
You also have an older phone though. you also have a bit of an older phone. So
Yeah, but they're using the same wireless technology, so it shouldn't matter.
I don't know. Mine might have a better cellular antenna.
I would
in it.
honestly be surprised if they were much different. Any difference is going to come from the coverage, not the device.
That's probably true. There is a tower pretty close to where I am. My download speed 120. Am I up?
Why are they parading around their 40 megabits and acting like it's so good?
That's what I was trying to get at. And my upload speed 54.9. Now that's on my cellular network. Let's you know what? The best,
but not like it'll matter much with data caps, huh?
Let's now I'm on my 5G wireless network now in my home here. Okay?
Should probably clarify 5 gigahertz.
Or no, 5G. 5 gigahertz, thank you. We were talking about 5G and I was thinking 5 gigahertz. So, now my speeds here, now of course this is a wireless connection going through some walls and things like that, right? But my download speed, 46.5, which is still higher than 40. 19.3 for my upload. But anyways. So, yeah, not much to write home about. So yeah, you're right. Here's the question: what has evolved about it?
It's evolved to suck compared to proper 5G.
I like that. I like that. So that's not out of line with what you get in a city on AT&T or other major carriers today. 40 megabits. AT&T plans to add the 5GE icon to more phones this spring, of course, and didn't immediately say which ones. AT&T offers a total of 17 devices right now that can take advantage of 5GE technologies, and they say its 5GE network will be available in 400 markets within the coming days. So here's my question, okay? If they're claiming a speed boost, right, 40 megabits per second, which apparently is what they already get right now, if they're not, then what are people sitting on right now? If 40 is an upgrade, what is the speed right now on LTE, 4G LTE? That's an interesting question. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah. All right. Zach, go ahead and scroll all the way down in the document because we're going to talk about some A&D stuff.
You're not going to make me lead this.
No. I don't plan for you to lead this, actually. That didn't actually work out so well last week, but you can at least follow along.
I told you.
Hey, this week I at least gave you a good couple hours, like, heads up, like, hey.
Forget it.
Anyways, all right. So, AMD has been lagging behind NVIDIA for... Really? Really, Zach?
Unfortunate, but true. Really.
This is
dispute that.
This is breaking news to me, Zach. I didn't know that. No, I'm just kidding. AMD has been lagging behind NVIDIA for years in the high-end gaming graphics card race, to the point that it's primarily been pushing bang for the buck cards like the RX 580 instead. I know nothing about the Radeon offerings. I know that you had super hype about Vega, and then you found out it wasn't actually that great.
I wanted to see some competition, and we get nothing. We get just nothing. We get a huge wattage mess.
A huge wattage
high
mess?
Wattage mess. That's what we get. A high wattage mess of a card.
Okay, so explain that to me, because obviously hardware not quite my area. I'm still trying to learn that. So what is special about wattage and all that stuff?
The thing just chugged watts.
Oh, okay.
And watts equals heat.
And heat equals less performance.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just
I mean,
no, Zach.
Been fine
Zach
had the card performed just spectacularly well.
No. I have a solution for you. You ready, Zach?
What?
Okay, here's the solution. Okay, take everything out of your computer, right? Then put it in a fish tank, and fill the fish tank with what?
I'm not going to answer this question.
Do you know where I'm going?
I know what it is.
You know where I'm going with this?
Of course I know
what. That is a giant
We're
mess.
never going to do it.
What?
It's dumb.
What? A mineral oil PC?
It is a showpiece. It looks cool, and it's a nightmare to maintain. And no one's
Right.
gonna do it.
Okay, so let's say we actually we're going to What If World though, but let's say we actually managed to get a sponsor or something like that, or some
What If World, he says.
Right. Well, theoretically, we could do it on our own with old parts that we had laying around, but let's just say that we were to build a mineral oil PC. Okay? I think it's a fair... let's say we had an office, right? I think it is fair. Let's put this in video. Let's put this on video right here. I think it is fair that if we ever build... I think you can agree with me on this. But if we ever build a mineral oil PC and somebody cracks it, they get to clean it up. Is that fair?
It's fair for sure, but we're never gonna do it, so...
Don't say never.
I mean,
okay, the likelihood of it...
I feel pretty safe making that bet, to tell you the truth.
The likelihood of it, probably improbable. But you never know.
Forget that. Just forget that. Where were we?
Well, we were talking about the new cards here. So at CES, the company says it has a GPU that's competitive with NVIDIA's RTX 2080. Okay, it's called the Radeon 7. Okay.
Yes, it is.
And it's going.
And I would almost think about if the price tag wasn't 700 MSRP. Like, ugh.
Okay, well, hold on. Okay, it uses the company's first 7nm graphics chip that we'd seen teased previously. It's going to start shipping on February 7th for $699 according to the company, and that's the same price as the standard NVIDIA RTX 2080. Okay. Yeah, but okay, let's back up here, okay? How much were you going to drop on a Vega card?
I was going to examine the performance first.
Okay, so what were you willing to spend on a...
Like, probably, I mean, it would really depend on the level of improvement. For a very significant improvement, probably 500 to 600 tops.
Okay. And how much was the 980 Ti when you bought it?
In that bracket.
Okay. Why didn't Zach buy it?
That's a price bracket that I'm comfortable spending on a card every 3-some years.
No. You should have just dropped the money on a 1080 Ti and called it good. I'm just kidding. How much were 1080 Ti's at that point? Do you even know?
Honestly, I should have got one when they were going less than 500 U. That would have been a sweet deal. Even if the only thing I did with it would be use it and then observe the prices skyrocket again and then proceed to resell it and pocket the huge difference.
Right. Although, let me ask you.
That would have been dope.
Let me ask you, okay? Now Redmond is still fairly new system, right? If I was going to upgrade something right now, probably the graphics, get some more performance out of it. Let me ask you, and we can take a look at this, probably not for $700, but would it be, I don't know, a 1080 Ti, even a used one on the market right now, still a decent card, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If you're, I mean, I could care less about ray tracing. Like,
I don't care for it either.
I don't know. After Effects might actually really like ray tracing, but especially if I'm doing like
the
3D
thing is,
stuff.
they have to implement support for that hardware.
ray tracing is already a thing that actually exists in, like, there's a ray tracing or engine already in
Okay, but
After Effects.
That's going to probably be using just the the standard GPU cores to do that work.
Right, but the thing is, here's the thing, right? So Creative Cloud is the solution where, they just send updates down whenever, right? So I'm sure developers at Adobe have been working to implement that new technology into all of the software and things like that. So,
as I was saying, if there could be an improvement if the software is able to use the specialized hardware of the RTX cards.
That's one of the things. That's one of the problems with a lot of the games that are out right now, is that they don't offer ray tracing.
Any that support it, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So I think it's kind of like that. I called it a gimmick. I don't think it really is a. Yeah, it might be, but
it's sort of.
Well, okay, but do you remember when 4K started coming out? It's kind of like that all over again. When 4K was the new thing. Oh, hey, this TV's got 4K, but there wasn't really anything that supported 4K. So.
Hardly any 4K content.
Exactly.
4K content now, but 4K gaming, I'm still not even gonna go there. Stupid.
Right. Oh,
you just need an absolute supercomputer to even run games at that resolution and at a good frame rate.
Okay,
Some people are okay with the low frame rates and prefer the extra quality, and fine, fair enough.
Let me ask you something, and this is completely, you don't have much to go off of, but Redmond with better graphics, like a 1080 Ti, how do you think it would do?
I'm sure it would do just fine, because that's mostly a GPU bottleneck.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it is. I'm sure I'm bottlenecking my CPU on the graphics side, like, horribly. But, anyways.
Well, that's just what happens. Like, in gaming, that's just what happens.
Right, but, like, I mean, just in general, with, like, a 1060 in here. Yeah. I don't know. A 1060 is not, like, a horrible card by any means, but it's definitely not the greatest card out there.
In any case, this card, this Radeon 7, I mean, this looks to be just a typical AMD competitor, AMD offering to compete with NVIDIA that, typically what we observe even is they have a lot more oomph, basically.
Oh, this new generation?
Yeah, like they...
Right.
Sorry, just typically speaking, a similarly performing AMD and NVIDIA card, I mean, you could take the 580 and the 1060 as a good example. The AMD offerings tend to carry a lot more hefty hardware.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, just look at the core counts and the memory and the bandwidth.
Right, more bang for your buck, I guess.
And what kind of results from that is that they tend to be better long-lasting cards. If you wanted to buy a card and you don't want to buy a new card for 5 years, it's probably a better buy.
So buy a Radeon then. If you're looking for longevity, buy a Radeon.
Now, I'm not entirely sure of all of the details that lead to that I guess discrepancy between the amount of hardware that each company needs to get its performance numbers where they're at. And I think a lot of it is NVIDIA driver support and stuff like that. But what it boils down to is that driver support and optimization doesn't keep things relevant as long as just having a lot of core to do a lot of work.
Well, a lot of things are, the software optimization is just as important as the power that something has sometimes too.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But what I'm saying is that that's typically something that NVIDIA has historically been better.
Right. Well, and I'm sure there's
better at, and AMD cards have typically met NVIDIA's performance numbers not so much by optimizations, but more by just throwing more hardware at them.
Got it. Okay. So that's their way of compensating that then.
Pretty much, yeah.
But
And
okay.
so what that results in is that down the road, they tend to be better performers. Like, and the easiest way to tell, to really see that is if you go online, you fish around for some used cars. I mean, maybe you dig up a 290X or something, and compare that with, I believe NVIDIA were on the 700 series at that time. You compare that with a comparable tier 700 series card, and it's just not even a contest.
Well, okay, and I think that makes...
You could definitely make a joke about the 290X and
95 degrees is okay.
I think though...
I mean, those ones are a bit like, ooh.
I think that's a good point that you made, though, is that there is a lot more driver support for NVIDIA. Think about it, okay? So this is kind of like the iPhone, Android, and Windows Phone, remember? Like, iPhone and Android made up the large portion of the market, so that's where all the developers were focusing on, and then here comes the Windows Phone, and it just kind of left them in the dust.
Well, that is something that actually helps NVIDIA quite a lot, is that they work closely with a lot of developers to make sure that their cards work well.
Right, yeah, connections.
And so, really, I'm sure there's way more details than that, but that's just kind of how it is, I guess.
Okay, back to this real quick here. So AMD says the second-gen Vega architecture offers 25% more performance at the same power as previous Vega graphics.
Now, I do hope, I would really hope that, because, if they're able to make some improvements there, good.
Right?
Because they need...
So the company showed it running Devil May Cry 5 at 4K resolution, ultra settings, and frame rates way above 60 FPS. AMD says it has a terabyte per second of memory bandwidth. I don't know, is that good?
These things are definite monsters in the memory department. 16 gigs of not just anything, HBM2.
Okay, break that down for somebody who doesn't understand. Just basically beast on memory.
Basically, we're looking at memory with very high bandwidth. HBM typically, compared to GDDR5, is clocked very slowly, and it just has an enormous bus size. So think of it like this. The highway has a ton of lanes, but the speed limit's really...
Right, but you can more stuff can travel through, so...
But the net result is more bandwidth still, because the number of lanes is way higher, has increased way higher.
So it compensates for being slower.
Higher. Yes, basically, it compensates for being slower.
Got it. Okay. Now, okay, let's back up there for a second, okay? Where did I see that? Yeah, a terabyte per second of memory bandwidth. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yes, it's pretty good.
Okay. As for existing games, AMD didn't break out loads of examples, but it says you'll see a 25% performance boost in Fortnite, 35% boost in Battlefield 5, and a sort of 27% plus boost in various kinds of content creation compared to the Radeon RX Vega 64. The company says it'll throw in free copies of... Is this a perk to try to get you to buy? Free copies of Resident Evil 2 Remake, Devil May Cry 5, and The Division 2 with each new AMD Radeon 7 graphics card or gaming PC that comes with one installed. Okay, so a perk, I guess? You probably... I don't know. You probably wouldn't care too much about that, would you?
I'm not really feeling any of those.
AMD says the Alienware Area 51 Threadripper gaming desktop will be one of the first. But yeah, so if you're curious about other tech specs, here are the ones that we know so far from AMD's press release. 60 compute units. Okay, let's start with that. Compute units. Break that down for me. Can Zach hear me?
What?
Okay.
I can hear you. You said something about compute units and then...
Yeah. Oh, break that down for me.
Oh, a compute unit is just a group of stream processors, more or less.
Oh, okay. So kind of like instructions per clock?
No, not really at all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I tried. See, I need to learn more about hardware. Well,
don't we all? I do too.
Yeah, but you have a much more vast knowledge than I do. But we've said this in the show before. Is that I tend to know software way better, and you tend to know hardware way better than I do. So,
I mean, there's a fairly slim chance that I would really think about buying a card like this, but I am aware that... Now, I'm not... Okay, sorry, I should clarify first that I'm not sure what kind of GPU this uses. If this uses a cut-down version of a larger GPU, or if this is just a large GPU and that's it. Because occasionally, and this happens mostly with AMD cards, but for example, with the Vega 56, which was a cut-down 64, some people came up with some BIOS modifications that you could flash to the card, and it would basically unlock the rest of the card and turn it into a Vega 64. So now I'm not sure if this is a cut-down GPU or not. If this were a cut-down GPU, somebody came up with this. Somebody came up with a BIOS mod for it to do that. And it had already proven itself to be a good card, a good competitor. I'd think about buying it.
I like that.
And hold on to it for quite a while, for sure. But, the other thing I find funny is that they're talking about their performance in Fortnite, which is pretty much a game that a toaster can run. I don't understand.
Hang on.
All the games to compare yourself in.
We'll come back to that in a minute. But Fortnite is huge right now, but 60 compute units.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do that because it's popular.
Right.
Anything can run that. Come on.
3,840 stream processes running at up to 1.8 gigahertz, 16 gigabytes of HBM2 memory, 1 terabyte per second memory bandwidth, and 4,096-bit memory interface. Here's the real question, though, Zach. Okay, you ready for this? Whether AMD is actually going to be able to ship enough of these GPUs at a competitive enough price.
See, that's what I'm worried about, For $699, I just couldn't be bothered to buy a card like that.
Right. Okay. So
but, I don't know. Maybe if the market shifted a bit and suddenly, people were unloading these cards on eBay like 6 months after they launch. Sure, I'd probably buy it. For $500, I'd buy one. Assuming it wasn't proven to be an utter piece of garbage.
Right. Let's look at how Nvidia responded to this. So, this new card is meant to compete with the brand new RTX 2080. Now, outspoken Nvidia CEO Jensen
Huang? I don't know.
Is that
I said his name wrong.
Okay, well, I'm going with that. Anyways, NVIDIA CEO has laughed off the competition. Okay? He's described AMD's announcement as underwhelming.
I found it underwhelming as well because I wanted Ryzen 3000. I don't want this crap.
They claimed the RTX 2080 would crush AMD's Radeon 7 in benchmarks. The performance is lousy, and that was referring to AMD's latest GPU. NVIDIA is focusing on ray tracing for its latest RTX 2080 GPUs, and AMD's latest GPUs do not support ray tracing at all. But there's...
I wouldn't be surprised if he is... if he's having a bit of a... What am I looking for here? I wouldn't be surprised if he is referring to ray tracing, and he's specifically saying, we'll crush you in this benchmark that includes ray tracing and all that.
You know what? They're
designed to.
That's a great point right there. That is a great point right there. I don't know.
Is that most people aren't looking for that.
Well, is there some possibly general cockiness? Because if we look back at the history here, for years, Nvidia has typically just destroyed and crushed AMD.
Yeah, I mean,
of course, although
last few attempts at AMD putting out a high-end card just really haven't gone that well. The Fury X, I mean, it didn't have enough memory, really.
Right. Okay, but
the problem with it was Vega. Well, we all know what happened there.
But
and now we have this.
Right.
You know, I'm open to them making a change, but
well, let me ask you this.
I will watch skeptically until I see some benchmarks.
Maybe not even ask you, but you know, this could turn out to be like the Radeon, or not the Radeon, the Ryzen, you know, release where, holy crap, AMD finally created something that's actually like, you know, competitive now. So, who knows? Now, this is a statement from AMD's from AMD, but I would probably suggest that he hasn't seen it, said Sue, before revealing why AMD isn't all in on ray tracing just yet. The consumer doesn't see a lot of benefit today because the other parts of the ecosystem are not ready, she said. I think by the time we talk more about ray tracing, the consumer's gonna see the benefit. I don't know. Is it smart for them to focus on just more power and not ray tracing? We'll find out. So,
personally, I'm fine with it.
I don't know. So, before we leave you, rapid fire. Did you know that Chromecast, or not Chromecast, that Google made a Chromecast just for audio?
Nope.
Yeah, it's called the Chromecast Audio. They are being discontinued. But basically,
that's probably why I didn't know about it, because it was.
I think they're trying to push more like the.
Why they're discontinuing it?
Nobody knew about it. That could be. I think they're trying to push more like the smart speakers and things like that. Things like that, though. That's probably more of it. Faster Wi-Fi is here, but it's off to a slow start. Wi-Fi 6 apparently is a thing now.
Okay.
I haven't done much. I'm sure this probably has to kind of jump in line with the new 5G that's gonna be announced or something like that. I don't know. Improvements, yada yada yada. And Verizon is quietly testing its own Netflix-style cloud gaming service.
Here's the problem with those is that, like, the network performance isn't there yet.
Interesting. I see. Oh yeah, some interesting stuff. Intel demonstrates 10 nanometer Ice Lake processor, promises PCs will ship with it later this year. I didn't really see any numbers or anything
Intel
like that.
Getting 10 nanometer to do anything. Wow. That's a surprise, actually. They've had a lot of issues with 10 nanometer.
I think we'll probably see some more stuff come out on that. I don't have any numbers right here, although I didn't look into it too much. 1 terabyte SD cards are now a thing. Which, okay, that's kind of cool. Let's see. Canon has an 8K camera now. Or they're planning one, I think. Chrome will block spammy ads around the world starting July 9th. This just in, it won't block any of its own ads.
Well, I was going to say, so it's going to block every ad?
Yeah. And Apple is reportedly planning 3 iPhones for 2019, one with new triple camera system. I didn't look too much into this. Holy crap, that looks weird. Yeah. So, anyways. All right. That's all I have for this week. Man, there was a lot of tech news this week. So, probably has something to do with CES being a thing. So, I don't know. I thought CES was a lot later in the year. I didn't realize it was like right after the beginning of the year. I don't know why. I thought it was like a summer thing, but apparently it's not. Anyways. All right. Well, that is all I have for you this week. As usual, I don't think Zach has anything else to add, does he?
No.
So, well, thank you so much for joining us. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Dislike if you didn't like it. Comments. Yeah, all that fun stuff. Anyways. All right, we'll see you next week here on The Ram Show.